What up, Namie Amuro fans? This is Steven, and I'm back with some interesting information about Namie Amuro during the Super Monkey years. I was browsing around the internet and I found this really interesting article, or at least a translation of the article that was published in Nylon Magazine. And I'll leave a link to the article in the description. But yeah, in this article, Namie discusses a lot of things, but one of the things that she discusses is the Super Monkey years. And it was some pretty interesting information that I didn't know. And, that kind of gave me more of an insight and, gave me more information and, you know, just ultimately kind of um, gave a little bit more information about Namie. Because as you guys know, Namie can be, you know, very withholding when it comes to like her personal life and personal information. But in this particular article, she opened up and gave us some information about herself and the things that she was going through during those years. So I would like to share them with you guys, or at least some of them. All right, so here we go. Here we go. All right. So it's kind of like a Q&A session, by the way. So it's going to be like a question, and then Namie is going to answer. So here we go. So, how did you get into music? The interviewer asked. And Namie responds, when I was in the sixth grade, or rather, when I was in the sixth year of elementary school, I was scouted by a talent school in my hometown. I'm assuming that talent school was the Okinawa Actor School. Let's see. I wasn't really interested in it before, she laughs. So initially, Namie was not interested in pursuing a career in music. At least it wasn't on her mind at the moment before she was scouted by the talent school, performing arts school, rather. Let's see. I was scouted out of the blue, and it happened before I even knew it. That's what it feels like, really. So, some guy just came up and scouted Namie, gave her some information, and she ended up in the Okinawa Actor School. But that's kind of like really a blessing because a lot of people they have to really seek out people to kind of like help them out. But here it kind of just came to Namie. But don't get it twisted, y'all. Just because it came easy like that don't mean that Namie ain't put in work. You guys know Namie did put in work. And she's going to go into that more so in this article. But let's move on to the next part. Let's see. Interviewer asks, if you hadn't gotten scouted, then Namie as she exists now might not. ... And Namie responds, maybe not. Plus, there was an acting course and a dance course. And originally, I was in the acting course because I figured, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well become an actress. So, Namie was actually, she was scouted by a talent scout, and she was going to pursue a career in the industry, in the entertainment industry, but as an actress, not initially as a musician, as a musical artist. So that is some news because I have heard of Namie doing some acting roles here and there, more so in the beginning, but I didn't know that she was initially on the track to become an actress. But of course that didn't work out, and Namie is going to explain why. See, so here we go. Namie says, but obviously you have to recite your lines in front of the class, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, well, this won't work. So I guess Namie was self-conscious, and she couldn't do like the acting thing. So let's see. Namie goes on to say, and when I switched to the dance courses, everyone was just paying attention to their own reflections in the mirror. ... And I thought, well, this is embarrassing, and that's how it all started. So Namie was, scouted by a talent agency. Initially, she was going to pursue a career in acting. However, she was feeling self-conscious about it, so she decided to pursue a career in dance instead, and she started dancing. And she didn't feel self-conscious anymore. So that's kind of like how the things started, how they began, you know, to start rolling. So here is the next question that the interviewer has for Namie. I never knew you wanted to be an actress. Neither did I. And to think you were dancing to escape embarrassment. Did you start to get into it after that? And Namie responds, that's right. I treated it like it was an after-school activity, but everyone was dreaming of making it their debut. And we had recitals a few times a year, and so gradually I began to want to get better. That was when I fell in love with Janet Jackson. We practiced with videos of foreign artists. They were like our teachers, and I wanted to be able to sing and dance like Janet Jackson one day. So, as you guys may or may not know, like Namie often, cites Janet Jackson as a musical influence of hers. You know, I whenever she's been asked about her musical influences, she always cites Janet Jackson as that musical influence for her. Um, and I guess, did they not have actual teachers? Because she said that these they practice with like music videos from foreign artists, like they were their listening. They were like our teachers. She says. So I'm like, where was y'all regular teachers at though? Y'all ain't have the regular teachers. Like, where were they at? They weren't teaching the class. I'm not sure. Maybe they were there supervising. I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's part of how it started. She saw Janet Jackson, was like, wow, a female artist, doing her thing up on the stage, dancing really well and singing really well. So that sort of, inspired her to, pursue a career in not only dance, but also like music. Right. Next question that the interviewer has. When did you start working in Tokyo? And Namie responds, I think it was in my second year of junior high. At first, when I just went back and forth for little jobs. And then when I was 15, I moved to Tokyo. So, Namie, she just, not even a grown woman yet, and she already moved to the big city, y'all, to pursue her dreams. She is, she was driven at a very young age, because not a lot of kids can't say that they were driven at a very young age. um, let's see. She goes on to say, in the beginning, I was with the other members of the Super Monkeys, and we were in this place that would barely sleep 4 people. We had to wake up at 7 a.m. Then we eat breakfast and go train by going running in the park nearby. So, it wasn't all, glitz and glamour. They had to put in work. And this was the work that they had to put in, or, part of the work that they had to put in. They moved to the city, but it wasn't glamorous. They were in a small place. They had a strict schedule. They had to wake up at 7 a.m., eat breakfast, go train. And she also goes on to say, we had a 6 p.m. curfew. It was really strict, she laughs. So yeah, they had to be back at home by 6 p.m. Like, they made sure you ain't have no life outside of this. And to an extent, I can understand why, if like people are investing this much in you, as far as giving you a place to stay, providing, food and nourishment, as well as providing training for you. So yeah, I guess they're like, okay, this is a job now, and you guys have to take this seriously. Like, this is serious business now. Let's see. Namie goes on to say, no matter where we went, we all had to go together. We pooled our money to buy food, and we had to use our own money for transportation. So perhaps they were doing that, to sort of, as far as like going everywhere together to help build sort of like a rapport with each other and to build like a relationship with each other. Um, I know like the Spice Girls, I believe they lived together for like a year or so before they even debuted, I think. So that kind of helped them really kind of like solidify a bond with each other. And some groups before, they kind of know each other beforehand, so the bond is already somewhat there. Kind of like with say Destiny's Child or TLC. I think two out of three of them knew each other before the group formed. But yeah, it was not glamorous. They had to pool their money together to buy food. So I'm guessing they didn't feed them as much as I guess I thought they did. And they had to use their own money for transportation as well. So I guess if they wanted to do anything, basically, I guess they weren't given a stipend. I guess they weren't really given a stipend that much. They probably was given as much as like. They may have been earning a little couple of bucks here and there for doing like appearances or shows or whatever, or like selling a couple of records maybe. But I guess it was nothing really major. Yeah. All right, Namie continues. If we bought clothes or food, well, if we bought clothes or clothing or something, we had to call home and be like, Mom, she laughs. If I hadn't had the other members, I might have gone back home to Okinawa right away. I really believe that we were able to make it through because we all had each other. So I guess that helps sort of intensify the bond because they were going through such a tough situation because they were probably the first time being away from home and they were at a young age, and as well, um, you know, having to have like a strict schedule and not being able to do exactly what you wanted, and as well not being having access to things that you want and need. Being having a low amount of money or a small amount of money as well. So it was pretty tough. It wasn't like, oh, they moved to the big city, moved to Tokyo, but they struggling. They ain't living in no big penthouse. They ain't doing big things yet. They kind of still working their way up to trying to do that. All right. Next question. I can't believe you had a period where you were so down and out. Did you experience any other kind of culture shock in Tokyo? Well, Namie responds, well, we didn't have money to go out, she laughs. It really just brought home how harsh reality is. Yeah, that's true. I thought that we'd get to have concerts as soon as we moved to Tokyo, but I was so naive. If you didn't sell CDs, you can't have concerts, and you can't go on TV. So as you guys know, back in the beginning, the Super Monkeys were not successful at all. Like the Super Monkeys were like in the beginning, they weren't really successful. They weren't really selling a lot of records. The success didn't come until probably towards the end of the Super Monkeys back in like 1995. And for me, I think 1995 is probably one of the most important years of Namie's life because that's when things started to get rolling. That's when everything started to happen. That's when, the Super Monkey started to happen, sell records. That's when, she went solo. That's when she got her first #1 hit. That's when she got, um, her, first album deal. Yeah, like so many things happened there. Her first concert, perhaps, too. Well, I guess she had concerts beforehand, but you get what I'm saying. All right. So, Namie goes on to say also, and the dance lessons were at such a high level. The ones we were used to in Okinawa didn't compare at all. So yeah, I guess they were doing like maybe more so simple dance moves in Okinawa, but here they're like, they made them do more intense dance moves. And Namie says, and she's really candid about this. She's like, I saw with my own eyes just how lacking my abilities were, and it was such a shock. Such a shock. I basically had to start from square one again. You know, so Nami kind of felt like she was coming to the table with something, which ultimately she was, but not as much as she thought. And she pretty much said it's kind of like starting back at square one because she's kind of like having to kind of like pretty much learn dancing all over again. You know. Let's see. And here is the following question. And I'll make this the final question for now. But gradually, more work came in, right? Let's see. Quote unquote, yes, Namie responds. Thinking about it now, I realize how lucky that was. In the beginning, we had 2 boys in the group, but it was decided that a girl group would be best. Yeah, yeah, I think it's probably best to have just the girl group instead of like 2 boys and like what 5 girls. How would that work anyway? They could be like their backup dancers, but really they didn't have backup dancers. They were just their own backup dancers. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it as far as the Super Monkey years are concerned. But there was like a lot of like interesting information that I didn't know about Namie during those years. Like I didn't really know about her experience during those years as far as living in Tokyo for the first time, or her experience even getting involved in the industry for the first time, as far as going to the talent school, the Okinawan actor school, how she got involved with that, and also I didn't know that she wanted to be an actress. Like she initially was going to be an actress. I didn't know that. So, that is definitely not the end of the article, but that's pretty much the end of the Super Monkeys, part of the article. But there's a lot more information in the article. And, depending on how interesting I deem the information, I may just make like another video and wind up sharing some more information about it in the article. But if you want to read the article yourself, I'll post a link in the description box. So thanks a lot for watching, you guys. Feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and support are extremely appreciated and valued. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.